Hey, y'all. As you may have noticed in the intro to the podcast, I'm widening my focus a bit to open up discussion for many topics that my clients and I have worked and concentrated on. I will still be talking about marriage. In fact, this coming week, I have a great, awesome thing planned with an expert to talk to you about marriage. So we'll still dive into that at times. Just a quick update. I'm so happy to report that we had a reception for my daughter, who was so sick on her wedding day, but her reception was this past weekend and she was healthy. She looked gorgeous and felt amazing. The weather was perfect and things could not have turned out better. I had been praying for weeks about the weather because where I live, it's really unpredictable in June. Last night, the day after the reception, we heard thunder, saw lightning, and then experienced a torrential downpour during the exact hours the reception was the night before. This was not even on my weather app. So I just am really serious when I encourage you regularly to seek and expect miracles. This is what I'm talking about. Although some would consider this wouldn't consider this a miracle, that I'm just lucky or that it was a coincidence, I choose to see God's hand in my life as often as I can. And I express gratitude and so much love for the miraculous way that we are blessed with such a perfect evening. Something else that I've been praying about for a long time is to have more charity, or the pure love of Christ, which is the greatest of all gifts. And I think I'm onto something. Loving God and our neighbors are the two great pillars, but they're easiest to do when we love ourselves. Loving ourselves is not thinking and saying that we are amazing and others are less than. Loving ourselves is believing that we are amazing and so is everybody else. God created us and he creates amazing things, beautiful people and experiences and places. He is the founder of all amazingness. President Nelson said that we've maybe sung and heard the words to I am a child of God so many times that it doesn't produce feelings that we are really that special. But what he said in a talk to the Way I Say Kids is that being a child of God is the most important identifier that we can have. So how do we internalize this? If you want more clarity around this and more charity for yourself and for everyone else, ask God to give you personal revelation about how he feels about you as a son or a daughter of God. Ask really good questions and you will get good answers. Don't ask yes or no. Ask something like, how do you feel about me? And sit and wait. I've done this work and it's amazing. God's no respecter of persons, and I believe he wants you to know exactly how beloved you are as his creation and his child. You know that I take time to write down my conversations with God, and I have a purpose besides the prophet asking us to, but I've just found this to be the very best way in all the work I've done to truly hear and feel God's love for me. In my work as a coach, I have so many clients who think they love themselves, but when we dig deep and we ask hard questions, almost all of them don't feel like they measure up, don't feel like they're enough, don't feel like God is pleased with them, don't feel like they are quite doing it right. And the opposite is true. And I want all of you to figure this out. I have always been fascinated with near-death experiences. When I was a little girl, my mom had books and I used to read them, and they would talk about these people who would die when they were in a terrible accident, and they would see their bodies, and then they would usually go through a tunnel of light and then see Christ. And they felt this amazing and indescribable love that he had for them, nothing that they'd ever experienced on the earth. And I used to think, I kind of want to have a near-death experience to know what it feels like to feel Christ's love so profoundly in my life. But although I have never had a near-death experience, I have started to daily seek to feel his love for me. And without any remarkable experience, I have been having really awesome moments with Christ. Grasping and feeling the depth of God's love for me is critical if I want to have more charity for others. The reason that we need to love ourselves is because then we will have greater capacity to love others. If we want to be less judgmental of others, we need to judge ourselves less harshly. If we want to be more loving wife, mother, friend, neighbor, start with loving ourselves better. For me, some days are better than others. And I'm sure this is just part of the human experience. So some days I don't feel the love of God and his light as strong as others, and I don't express it to others when I'm not feeling it. I have some low days, and when I'm having hard days, I don't feel very loving or feel Christ's love strong. Sometimes it's hard for me to access. Those days, though, I have done my work. And this is what you can do. I remind myself of what he has told me in the past. That's why writing down what you get on those good days is so important. Nearly every day, I reread part of the revelation that I have received previously because it is such an awesome reminder. Those days that my mind offers me continual negative thoughts and about myself, about others, even the world in general, I try to redirect the thoughts and boss my brain around. One of the ways that I've found is to access greater courage and calm in my life instead of anxiety, doubt, and negativity is to go back to those moments when I felt words come into my mind, and then I try to say them to myself. So I say things like, God loves you. Christ will support and comfort you. He's right by your side. You're doing just fine. Tomorrow is a new day. All things work together for good to them that love God. I can do all things with Christ who strengthens me. Trust in the Lord, and he will lead thee and give thee answers. Keep on keeping on. It will all work out. When I am on the Lord's errand, I'm entitled to the Lord's help. These are thoughts that God has given me when I've asked him for help in different situations and circumstances and in different relationships. And I have been given these one-word answers, different days. I even have a voice memo that I have to help me when I can't remember what he's told me. By doing this work regularly, I can stay in higher vibration emotions a lot of the time, even on the rougher days. I give Satan less power to fill my life with garbage and instead fill it with unwavering faith and hope and charity, no matter the circumstance. Letting God prevail looks like this in my life. It's one of the ways I try to be intentional. I've been told over and over again, as some of my kids have strayed from the gospel, that the way to be is joyful. That is what they will be drawn to. Not sad that they're not doing what I wish they were doing, but joyful in my own life with my own decisions, with God as the center of my life. That is such a blessing. And I've seen it be a blessing in my children's lives. And I know that that is the answer. So I will be launching group lessons very soon, and I can't wait to see you there. Until then, seek and expect miracles. They are out there, and they are there if you are willing and open to receive them. I will see you next time, and have a great day.